I think the Democratic Party has also done something where they've been intoxicated by the wonderful high of being able to just say Trump over and over and over, and Trump is Hitler over and over, and that's excused them to basically believe they can do whatever it is that they want, say what it is they want. The weird thing about this election cycle is that positionally, Trump is the most moderate candidate in Republican history. Right? He took abortion basically out of the platform. Right? I mean, like at the RNC, he basically sidelined abortion, which is a huge issue, obviously, for the pro-life community. That's a big part of the Republican Party.
He appointed the judges who got rid of it.
That's true. I mean, they got rid of Roe, but the point is that his position has been that he will veto, for example, a national abortion ban. No other Republican could have gotten away with that.
Correct.
Right? When it comes to things like when it comes to same-sex marriage, that's completely out of the platform because of Trump, right?
That's the great part of being a cult leader, is that seriously, is that when it's about personality, and this is true, and it's funny you bring up Hitler. It's like he's the one talking about Hitler now. I think it's hysterical that for years now, you guys don't seem to care at all that the only human who he has ever not shit on is Putin. Like everybody else gets it.
In a recent podcast appearance with Bill Maher, Ben Shapiro delivered a sharp critique of Maher's woke talking points, particularly on crime. Shapiro contrasted crime rates in cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco with those in Florida, arguing that progressive policies have contributed to rising lawlessness. As expected, Maher pushed back, but Shapiro didn't hold back either. During the conversation, Shapiro shared a personal story about nearly getting robbed in Los Angeles the night before. While dining with friends, his security team spotted a suspicious vehicle. "Is that idiot? Said Deputy R. Moments later, 3 men jumped out, attacked his friends, and stole their wallets, jewelry, and other belongings. Shapiro cited the incident as a key reason he moved to Florida, suggesting that in Florida his friends might have been able to defend themselves rather than waiting on law enforcement. He argued this wasn't an isolated case, but part of a larger crime crisis in California's major cities, which he attributes to lax policies that fail to deter criminals. According to Shapiro, many offenders face little to no consequences, whereas Florida's approach empowers residents to protect themselves. The debate underscored broader questions about crime, legislation, and public safety. Shapiro stressed the need for tougher policies to curb crime, contrasting Florida's enforcement with what he sees as California's leniency. Let's dive into the clip and see how this heated exchange played out.
No.
Not really.
Right. And that's hugely different.
Yeah.
Than the other two big ones.
For sure. No, hell is Los Angeles. I almost got robbed last night, by the way.
What?
Oh, yeah. We were here for family and to be on this, and went out with some friends last night on 3rd Street for dinner. And it's, not a bad area.
No.
Like 10:30 at night, we get out of the restaurant. I have security, obviously, so we start heading one way. My friends head the other, as a husband and wife. They go 3 cars down. They get in their car. As soon as they get in their car, a white Hyundai pulls up, and 3 black gentlemen, I mentioned the race because they are still at large, jump out of the car. They immediately grab my friend, pull him out of his car, steal his wallet, steal his watch, pull his keys out of his pocket, his phone. They run around to his wife. They grab her, start trying to rip the jewelry off of her. She screams, and at this point, their time has elapsed. They jump back in the car, and they take off. And I remembered why I moved to Florida. So,
well, it's not like that couldn't happen in Florida.
Well, I mean, we'd shoot you.
Let's be honest, denial won't fix anything. It's time to stop pretending things aren't as bad as they are. Sure, not every part of California is a crime-ridden disaster, but major cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco are grappling with serious problems. While many cities across the U.S. struggle with high crime rates, places like LA and San Francisco face unique challenges. Dense populations combined with policies that seem to make crime more likely, not less. Take Ben Shapiro's recent experience as an example. His attackers are still at large, and the odds of them ever facing justice are slim. Now, compare that to Florida. There, residents aren't just relying on law enforcement. They're often armed and legally allowed to protect themselves. This isn't just about police presence. It's about legislation that actually deters crime. Florida self-defense laws create a real consequence for criminals, whereas strict gun control in cities like LA leaves law-abiding citizens defenseless, while criminals, who ignore laws anyway, remain armed and emboldened. The logic is simple. In places where people can fight back, criminals think twice. Yet when Shapiro pointed this out, Bill Maher pushed back, insisting that could happen in Florida too. Sure it could, but statistically it's far less likely. Criminals don't target areas where they know potential victims could be armed. That's not an opinion, that's reality. And yet, despite the evidence, some people refuse to see it.
Why, are you strapped?
In Florida, sure.
You are.
So's my wife. Everybody's strapped in Florida. Come on, man. I've been there.
Okay, well, what I take from this is don't eat on 3rd Street anymore. There's some fine restaurants on 3rd Street. I mean, Berry's, I love Berry's. It's late night. It's a very strange restaurant because it's nice. Nobody's ever in it. If you want to, like, be sure to get a table at 9 o'clock. I'm just walking off the street. I recommend it highly. I think they must be laundering money or something. Jones is a old, isn't the little door on 3rd? These are all like places I will never go again.
Yeah, no, listen, I grew up here, man. I mean, I spent my entire childhood here. I was here for, of the 36 years before I moved to Florida, I was here for 33 of them here. And then there came a point where we were out.
Well, I mean, you're not unique. Certainly. There's lots of people who have moved. The places people move are Florida, Nashville, and Austin.
Yep.
Right. Those are the 3 sort of like havens for people who have had wokeness up to here. And when I say wokeness, you know, I mean, it's a triggering word because some people think of it in the original meaning, which is, as I always say, noble, alert to injustice. Certainly with our despicable racial history, that was necessary. To be super alert and vigilant. Then it migrated because words do. That's just the nature of language. You can't control it. Words just become something else. And it became a sort of catch-all for what I have called the aggressively anti-common sense agenda. I mean, that's where we share a belief. Then there's lots of stuff where we don't. And,
sure.
You know, we don't even have to talk about Trump.
This is exactly why someone like Bill Maher comes close to understanding these issues, but never fully embraces the reality. As Ben Shapiro pointed out, it shouldn't be controversial to want to live in a place where you're not afraid of getting robbed while out for dinner, or where basic necessities like groceries aren't outrageously expensive. Most people agree with this in principle, until you mention that high crime areas tend to be in cities run by Democrats. That's when it suddenly becomes a controversial state. Maher pushed back, saying tis in chart. That can happen in Florida too. And sure, crime can happen anywhere, but it doesn't happen nearly as often. Why do you think that is? The truth is, most people want to live in safe, affordable communities, places that, more often than not, align with conservative policies. Yet, the moment you start pointing out these patterns in Democrat-run cities, some people immediately get defensive, as if simply acknowledging the problem is an attack. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more insightful discussions.